Hello and welcome to Spy Money. We're going to talk about how I trade my futures, what indicators I use, how I use my charts, the different ones and all that. Right now I'm on the Ninjatrader, and that's the platform that I use to trade my futures and also trade my options on in Ninjatrader. It's two separate accounts. So on Ninjatrader, you can have different ATM strategies and so forth, and it actually helps. So you can have, like, say 4 contracts, and you could have 3 close out in, say, 1 point, and you could have another one be a runner, so if it takes off on you, then you can make more money. But I'm not going to get in that entirely. I'm going to show you how it works, but that's not really what we're going to talk about. I want to show you my setup. I have now again, this is fake money up here. This is not real. This is playback connection. So this is on a Saturday, so I can't even use my real account right now. But on the playback, you can do a lot of practice with it. So you can do back testing and so forth, and you can pick the dates that you want. So like up here, you can pick wherever you want. And then you just have to download the past on it, and there's a way to do that, which I won't get into. But you can download history, and then you can pick the dates that you want to run. So I usually do like the same week. So I'll download on Friday everything that has happened up until Friday at 5 o'clock, and then I can go back and back test that week or in weeks past or whichever. So the way I have mine set up is I have let me do this. Move this over. So right over here, I'll use usually and I got this on 5 minute now, but usually I'll have this on 200 ticks. And using 200 ticks, it allows me to get a better entry. And I use my indicators, like right here's an RSI. This is a OBVM. It's on balance volume modified. I don't really use this one so much. I really use the RSI and the MACD down here the most. But I've been playing around with this, just testing it. And as you can see, right here's a cross. That's usually what I trade on, is a cross. And there's a cross right here. The MACD actually got it first. So the MACD is actually a little bit quicker most of the time, and you can actually see on the MACD the volume starting to come down. So I really like the MACD, but also like the RSI because it tells me overbought and oversold. I don't trade because of that. Just like right here, if you look and it goes up and it hits this one, but it actually kept going up. So I use this as a warning sign of when we may or may not be reversing. That's all I use it for. And I have a tick counter here, so this tells me how many ticks is coming up. So if we go back, if I do a little bit further along, there we go. So now we'll start seeing some movement when it catches up. So whenever you advance it, it'll delete whatever profits and stuff you've had, so you have to start all over. But this will allow it to get up to the time frame that we're wanting. So there we are. Now we hit play, and then when we hit play, it'll start moving here, and you can start seeing the indicators work the way they should. Now the way I do it is I will get my entry on the 200 tick. And that's sometimes I'll go down to say 100 tick, depending on the volume. So if you have light volume, then I will go to 100 tick so I can catch the move. So you can see here, here's where I'd get in. That's 95.77, and it went up and started coming down when it started moving back a little bit. So 95.98. So that would have given me 21 points. So roughly 20 points here. 20 points at $20 a point is decent money. So you got $400 there per contract. So if you're doing, say, 4 contracts on that, then you're at $1,600 just on this one move. Whereas if you come over to the 2000 tick, then if you look at the time frame of 4:52 a.m. and if we look at right here, so you probably might not have got in this if you looked at your 2000. But looking at your 100, you would have got in. And then also when it came over here, you could have, on your cross, you could have went ahead and got in a short here as well until it came on down. So if you look at your RSI, you can see the RSI was overbought at that point. And then when you look at the 100 tick or 200 tick, the RSI is usually right on the money. So when it hits that, it will usually pull back. And then you can see down here, we're getting close to getting oversold. So as soon as it gets down to oversold, it's going to go ahead and take back off. Now it may do it ahead of time. Like if we go back and look at this, you can see here, it came down to there and then it reversed and went right back up. So, you know, we reversed there, we reversed here, and we reversed there. So what you do is you look for patterns and see what it's actually doing. We're in an uptrend. So being in an uptrend, that tells you that the majority of the time you probably ought to be trading in the up and not shorting. Now I'm going to bring over 3 other things that I'll look at. Now this is on another monitor that I have. And this one has 3 different pieces on it. So I've got 3 charts. So let me move this one down a little bit so you can see it. And then we'll bring that one down. So now I trade on the 5-minute on this one. And I have a 15-minute on this. So when I'm scalping, I'm looking at these for overall direction. So when I look at these and I see the 5-minute, it looks like it's trying to pull down here. So our MACD is actually curling down. We've got lower volume. You know, right here was higher. Now we got a lower one here. So our RSI is starting to pull back. So that's a good sign that, you know, we're pulling back. And then when you come up here, you can do a horizontal line. And then when you do that, there's the top, and we didn't hit it. And then we've got all this showing down, so it looks like we're actually getting ready to reverse. And I don't know where we are on this. I haven't looked at the time frame. So whatever it does is, you know, just like I wouldn't even know. But if you look at the 15-minute, you can also see the 15-minute is actually pulling back as well. So it looks like everything is actually trying to come down. So now I'm going to put these back over to where they come from. Let's see here, bring that one up. And this other piece that you're looking at is the time sales. Now your time sales will tell you what is trading. Your red is your bid, your green is your ask. So when someone's paying ask price, that's a good indication. A lot of times it will actually, you know, be going up because they really want it. But when they're paying bid, you know, then that's not necessarily great. But this is also sales. So this can be short or long, and that's the one thing about it. But it kind of, when you start seeing this all in red, typically it will start selling off. Not all the time, but typically it will. And if it's all green, then it'll go up. But right now we're just kind of a mixture. Okay, so if we look at this one and compare it to over here, so when we look at that, see, we're trying to actually come up, so this is like a mixture. So you got buys and sells, so this is going straight across. But now if we would advance this a little bit, and actually we'll just speed it up. You got a 1 times here, so we can speed this up to like 6 times to make it go faster. So it's 6 times the speed. So for every minute is now every 6 minutes is 1 minute now. So we're going to see what's going to happen here, and you can look at your time sales to see what's doing. You can see a lot more green coming in than red. So if there's a lot more green, see how it's starting to go up? Now you can't trade by this alone, at least I can't. But it also shows the number of contracts. So if you can kind of catch in there, you'll see like ones right now, which is 1,000. And sometimes you'll see it be like, it'll pop up and it'll be like 10, 20, 30. When it's those numbers, you need to look at what it's doing to make sure if it's going up or down. So this is really kind of a visual for me. I don't trade from it. It's just more of a visual. So that, you know, that's what I do with it. And the other thing I use is my VWAP. So my VWAP is probably one of the best things you'll ever use in trading. And if you look, you will see, actually I'll tell you what, let's go to this one here and you can see it better. So on this one, this is your 2000 tick, and my VWAP resets daily. So this is the start of the day here, so this is 6 o'clock in the evening, and then this right here is what is that? 12. So it should have been. It's just not showing, but this right here will be about 5 o'clock. So my VWAP has a line through the middle, which is the white line. That's my main one. So if I look through there, my VWAP is actually in the middle. Okay, so if my candles are above my VWAP, then that's a good sign that it's going to be long. But when the candles drop down below the VWAP, then that's a good sign of a short. Now, each one of these lines is a deviation line, standard deviation. So you have 1 deviation here, you have 2 deviation, and 3 deviation. So this line and this line are work together, okay? And your VWAP's right in the middle of it. So you can kind of look at this as like trend lines. Instead of drawing out all your trend lines and trying to figure out where everything is, and you can just use this. It's similar to a Bollinger Band, except a Bollinger Band doesn't move across time frames. So if you're looking at a Bollinger Band on, say, a 1 minute, it'll be different on a 15 minute. Where the VWAP and the standard deviation is actually the same no matter what time frame you go to. So it works more like a trend line. And by working like a trend line, you could actually see that where this come off of your VWAP over here, and it came up, and you can see it just struggled a little bit across that standard deviation, and then it broke through and went to the next one. So this would be like a pivot or a trend line or whichever, and then up here will be like another pivot or trend line. So that's kind of the way it works. So when you're trading, you can look at this and you know that when you're going to get here, you're going to have some resistance, and it may or may not break through. It may go ahead and just pull right back. So as you can see during the day, let's see here, let me try to make this a little bigger like this. So during the day, this has just kind of stayed in between this the 1 and the 2 deviation. It's where it went. Now I've got these on different colors. So this one is, you know, a little bit bluer. I don't have it too blue to where it takes away from the candles, but it's a little bit bluer. So this right here is where the majority of your candles will typically stay, between this right here along your VWAP. But like I said, if it's above your VWAP, then it's probably going to be long. So, you know, you could have got in right here and you could have just weathered all this out and stayed until later. So let's say this was on Friday. Oh, actually, this would have been, the 26th would have been a Tuesday. So this past Tuesday is when this was, this one. So with it being this past Tuesday, and you're looking at, you know, if you would have got in down here, see, let me bring that up a little bigger so we can see it. There we go. So when it starts out, you know, it's a different day, so it's actually doing a little different. Now, one thing you can do is you can change this to, let's see here, session. You can do it like on, say, a week. So this would actually change, and now instead of resetting every day, it should continue. Well, I guess it stayed. It's supposed to reset, go ahead and go. We're going to make it per session, because day trading, that's what you want. So I thought that would actually change, but I guess it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So we're doing, oh, it'd be for the whole week. That's what it was, because it didn't change here. I thought it changed. So looking at that one, it's right there. So if we go ahead and go for the week, and then we apply, there it is. Now if we do a month, then it's going to let it go back for the last month. So this one will change. So instead of resetting every day, then, you know, it will stay that way. So let's just say we leave it on a month. That way our VWAP stays the same all the way through. There's no reset to it. Okay, this will make it easier to understand. So as you go per day, you can see that right here was the VWAP, and then it went ahead and jumped up. Here's your standard deviation, your first one, and you can see that it just kind of come right on through there, and then all of a sudden it broke out, and then it came up, retested it, and it went up and hit the next one, and then it did the same thing here, broke out, and it came up, retested, and then it went up. Now we're on the third one. Okay, so right now we're at the very top of where the standard deviation is. Does that mean that it will come back down? Probably will. Depending on what the market does, but typically it will come down and then bounce, and while it comes down, that deviation will still continue to go up a little bit, so it can still keep on working. So if you look at this one, we are at 95.41 right here, and if we look right here, we are 96.23. So we're roughly 75 points difference between here and down here. Okay, so it just continues to go up. So as these candles continue to go up, this standard deviation will continue to go up, and most generally it will not break that third deviation. This will be at your top. So when you're trading during the daytime, you can kind of watch this and you can see that it just took off. So on May the 22nd, if you'd got in right there, which was 92.54, so call it 92.50, and this is up to 9600, call it. So you are looking at 350 points that you could have got right there. So, and if you look, you can see that we have stayed above that. This yellow is a 21 EMA, and this purple one is like pink purple is a 8 EMA. So when you look at these two, if you'd have got in at this cross, that's what I usually trade on, the cross. So whenever I got in, I could have went long with it and just stayed in this contract the whole time, and I would have made 350 points. So 350 points would be $7,000. Okay, so if you've got $7,000 per contract, let's say you bought 3 of them, well then you got $21,000, and you did that in a matter of about a week. So it'd be the 23rd through the 29th, so 7 days, 6-7 days. So in 1 week you could have made roughly $30,000. So it'd be 7 and 4, 28. Yeah, about $28,000, somewhere through there. So you could have easily made that and not even have to do anything. And you could have just put a stop, like every day. You could have raised your stop up, and if it come down and hit it, then you could be out. Or you could put a trailing stop in it. Trailing stop's kind of hard on one of these unless you have a really big one, because there's a lot of movement here. So that's how I trade, and it works for me. It may not work for everybody, but that's how I do trade, and I just watch those. In my course that I'm going to have, I'm going to go ahead and make one for the future contracts trading, and that one is going to go into a lot more detail about what I'm looking for in the trade. So if you're not really sure how to trade in this setup, that course will be available within a few days, I'm hoping. And once I get that done, then it will go into a lot more detail about my indicators I'm using, how I use them, at what entry, what am I looking for, and things like that. So it's more of a really kind of a beginner course, but now that course, you could take it and it would actually work for about anything that you want to trade, because I trade the same no matter what I'm doing. But in this one's going to be for like scalping futures. That's what it's going to be for. So it's going to be geared to futures only, and that's really about all I trade. I get in some options every now and then, but options have been really hard to trade lately. This one, I mean, if you would have got in TQQQ long, then you would have made money, or if you would have shorted SQQQ. So if you would have done the options and done like say a month-long option and bought the Qs, then you would have made money. If you bought calls in it, you would have made money on this, and you could have just held it the whole time and made really good money on it. When you try to day trade an option, it's really kind of difficult because of these ups and downs. So you might have bought it, say right there, and then the next day it drops down here, and then it's several days, or actually several hours or so before it will actually come up. So if we look at this one, that's on a 15-minute chart. If you're looking long, then probably the best thing to do is look at your 60-minute, and then if you look at your 60-minute and see where it is, then you would know to probably get in around through here and then just let it ride on up. So you could have made money with that as well. So it really kind of depends on your strategy, what you're doing, and how you want to trade and as far as what you want to trade. I personally like to trade my futures. The futures is the quickest money. On Friday, yesterday, I made I think it's about $1,700, and I made that in about probably 15 minutes or so, because it just took off on us. And where I made it was toward the end of the day. But you can see this one here, the 100 tick. I mean, this is a lot more accurate under lower volume. Now, when you get high volume, you can't trade it like that. So let me move this volume up a little, or move the time up. Let's see here. Trying to get it at 9:30. I can get it right there, 9:20, and I'll just speed it up. And then you'll see that the 100 tick is just too small to trade when you get high volume. The volume will usually start coming in about 8 or 8:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and when it comes in, I mean, this thing would just be all over, and so you have to bring the tick chart up. And I trade on ticks the majority of the time. I trade on a 2000 tick and a lower. I do my entry on the lower, but I look at my 2000 to kind of see overall direction, and then I have my 5-minute and 15-minute over on another screen just so I can kind of keep an eye on it. So my normal trading, I'm going to be looking at this 2000 there, and 2000 is sometimes more candles than a 1 minute, and sometimes it's less candles. 1 minute is definitely time, where your tick is actually looking for how many times it moves. So every time it moves is ticks. So, if there's a lot of volume, then your ticks are going to move, really fast. And then if there's low volume, then the tick charts are going to move really slow. So then your time is sometimes better. So we're going to look at this. Now we're at 9:21, and you can see that our 100 tick is actually moving a little bit faster now than what it was. And let's see if we go, let me speed this up and just get to the 9:30 bell. Okay, so now we're on regular speed, we're on 1 time, and then we've got 34 seconds before the bell hits. So when the bell hits, you'll see this thing start moving a lot more, and your 2000 will start moving a little quicker too, but not as quick as like this 100. So you got 19 seconds. 10 seconds. Oh, and this is my super DOM. I put my trades in here. This is where I execute. And sometimes I'll do it here if it's really moving. Sometimes I'll just hit buy market and then I'll close for the sell. All right, so we're at 9:30 now, and you can see the 100 moves a little bit different, as far as faster. And so I will move it up to 200 and see how the 200 is reacting. See, the 200, it slows it down. And by slowing down, it allows me to make a better entry. This one here is a little bit too fast too, so we go to a 300. A 300 is better because it'll get me in. I can look at my crosses better and make a better informed decision. So like right here, I would do a sell market. And if we do, let's say we're on the NASDAQ, so let's do this one here. And if I did a sell market, then it puts my stop already in, and then it'll put my buys down here as far as to buy it back. Now I've got another one that's got a runner, and it will put like sell 1 here and then 1 down here. Let's see if I can find that in there. Yeah, that one there. We'll try it next. So with this one, see, it just went ahead and sold, and I made $387.24 on 2 contracts in really just 10 seconds or so. So we're going to trade this one. and I'm going to show you the other. So we're going to put this in. Now we've still got 2 contracts, but we've got a runner down here. So I've got my 2 stop up here, and then when this comes down and hits this one, it'll close out one of them and take profit, and then we'll bring my stop down to break even plus 1 tick. That way, for some reason it would go backward, then I won't lose money. I'll actually gain a little bit of money, 1 tick worth, and that'll pay my commission and still make me a little money so I don't lose. So on this one, let me speed it up here a little bit just for time. Alright, so now we got plus 1 right there, and we sold that 1, and if it keeps on dropping, then it'll come down and pick up the runner. So far I'm up, in these 2 trades, I'm up $595 so far, and I've still got another $100 and some left on this one. So if I think it's going to turn back, which, see, it almost hit right there, not hit. So our total is $595 for the day, okay? So on that one, it kept me from losing money, but while I was down here, I could have closed that out and went ahead and took the money. So under normal speed, that's what I probably would have done, because it looked like it was starting to come back based off of your RSI and your MACD and so forth. So the best thing to have done was went ahead and closed it out, and then you would have picked up another $140, $150. So, but that runner is good to put down there in case it just all of a sudden drops real quick. It'll hit your first one, close out, and if it drops another good 10, 20 points, then that other one will pick up a lot more points. So if we go back to this one, and it looks like we're still in a downtrend over here, so I would do another sell market, and let's see what it does. Now that's based off of this over here is still in a downtrend, so that made me think that it was going to keep on selling. This just went up, tested your indicators there, and they kept dropping. Now we're coming back down. Our indicators are showing that it's possible reversal there, but it's probably just going to do like this. But if you go from, say, here to right there, oops, that's the wrong one. Let's see, we want arrow line. So if we do from there to there, then we can take this one and move it down to there, and that's probably where we'll end up being. So we're probably going to be right there. So if we do another sell market, let's see, if we look over here, these look like it's coming up right now, so I don't think it's really ready. Because see, we're trying to cross over here. This is trying to pull up. MACD's still going down, but more than likely it's probably going to go to right here. So if we go in a sell market there, and then if I raise this one down to, or drop that one down, okay, it stopped me out. So it's going to consolidate right now. But a lot of times you can do it's called a 2-legged trend, and if you measure from here to here, and then you take that measurement, which was this one, oops. So if you take that one and it's there, you can usually take that one and bring it to here. In this case, it's going to go ahead and reverse. So this didn't come down very far, and it's starting to consolidate over, so this is going to go on up. So if we do a buy market and see where this goes, there we hit our first one, and now we're at break even plus 1. Actually, it's break even. So see, we made money, but we've still got this other one in there. We could take it if we want, or it may just come down and stop us out. We won't lose money with it. Or you can just hit your close button right now and close it out and just take your money. If you're okay with the money and you think you're nervous or whatever, you can just get rid of it. So right now it just broke me even. So see, you could have taken 2 contracts up there, but the runners actually work really well. That way, if it does start going the opposite way or the same direction and just takes off, then you can actually make an extra money with it. So I hope this helps you understand as far as what I do, and I don't go into all the details, but it'll let you know how I'm trading In just this little bit of short time, we made $780. And the way this is going right here, it looks like it's probably going to continue up. We did have a double top over here, so it may not. And that's going off of this one here. So if we come back into there, so that's picking up our double top there. We would need to break through that before I would go long on it in real money. But it looks like it's probably going to sell off. We got lower lows right here, so I would say we're going to sell off. So if we went into a sell and shorted it, so we've got this right here showing downturn, and we've got this over here making lower highs, and we're staying on that 21, so that told me that it was going to go down. So on this one, we should continue to go down. If we look over here, our horizontal line, that'll kind of let us know about where all of it is. So if we move this one down a little more right there. So that's probably, we need to break through this. If we don't, if we come down and touch it and then come back up, then I would sell right there. But if we touch it and then break through, then I would go ahead and hold it. And we've got one pivot here, a pivot here, and a pivot down there. And we've got our standard deviation there. So what I would be looking at is probably this one here. There's a good chance it's going to go ahead and come down to this other one. And what you could do is you can drop it down to, say, there, just right above that pivot. And all of a sudden, if it drops down and hits it, then you made more money. If it drops down and starts pulling back, you can just close it out and take your money. So now we need to break through this deviation. Once we break through that, our next one would be this deviation down here. So right now we're up $980 total. We've got our runner that is making our money right now. And if you feel uncomfortable, you think it's going to go up, just close out. Take your money. Now we're up $1,370. It's really just this easy, guys. I mean, it's not hard. Once you understand what your indicators are doing and you understand your support and resistance, the standard deviation is a really good one to go by. This could easily drop down, but once you come through, there's a good chance it's going to consolidate a little bit there, and it might take off again. So here, we've got on our 200 or 300 tick, we're showing that it's going up right here, it's going up there, and it's going up here. So I would not get in alone here because it's just going to be short time. There's a good chance this will come up just a little bit and then just drop. So you always want to trade with the trend. You don't want to trade against the trend. So if you're trading with a trend like this right here, like you wouldn't want to trade right here. This little leg right here is just not something, it's just too dangerous to trade. So we're trying to pull up here a little bit. When this comes up and RSI gets up here close to the top, then that's probably where I would want to think about getting in. But you can see there it's trying to drop. And it's going to drop through. So there it is. So if we do a sell market there, and if we raise our stop up a little bit just to get above that deviation, and we can even move this one down to there and put our runner on down. We don't have to leave where we were. So that's just as far as the taking points at certain places, you don't have to do that. You can just keep on going. More than likely, coming off of this, it's going to go ahead and come on down. So we're going to go and try to take it. We think that it'll hit here, and if it does continue to drop, then our runner will get it too. So I hope this is making sense to you, how I trade. Again, it may not work for you. Now this one here looks like it's trying to, so we're going to go ahead and take that first one out right there. Okay, so we got that one, and we can bring our stop down to, say, right here. So we won't even have to do a break even. We can bring it down to there. We want to keep below that 21, or right above that 21. because it'll usually go right up there and then it will pull right back down. But if it goes ahead and goes up, now we just took our profits. Now we're $1,715 in a matter of about real time, probably 15-20 minutes, something like that. Because I've got this one sped up 3 times right now, so it's going a little bit quicker. But see how this is starting to come up now on our 2000? And if you look right there, our RSI is actually crossing and starting to come up. That's a good sign that we're going to go ahead and continue up. And if I look, you can't see it, but on our 5 minute and our 15 minute, our 15 minutes actually already turned, or that's a 2000 tick. That should have been 15. Let's see here. There we go. So our 15 is down in the RSI, which I'm going to bring this over just so you can see it. Our 15 minute is the RSI is oversold right now, so that's a good sign that it's probably going to turn and come back up. Our MACD still has not tried to cross, and then as far as our 5 minute, we'll look at it as well. Our 5 minute is showing pretty much the same thing that 15 is, but our on balance volume modified is actually still going straight down. So there's a good chance that it's going to go ahead and continue to sell off. But see right there, it went up, turned. Now what we need to do is we need to see this cross here. And if that crosses to come down, then I would get back in another short. And if you look over here, our MACD is trying to turn down. So it's probably going to sell off, but I would want to see that cross again. Now if we come back to a 200, we'll probably see that cross. Almost. Now see, if we'd have shorted right there, we'd already be losing money. So it's important to watch that cross. And again, I go into detail to explain where to get in, why to get in, and when to hold off. In that course. It's very reasonable. I don't charge a lot for my courses. Make it very affordable for everyone. And it's a lifetime course that once you buy it, it's your course. You can revisit it, watch all your videos and stuff all you want. So just it's not good to watch it one time. It's good to watch it a whole lot. So now we've got a cross, so we're going to do a sell market, and then we're going to raise this up. It stopped me before I can get to it. So I'm going to raise that up, and then I am going to drop this down. I'm going to drop this one to there. So more than likely this will continue to sell off a lot further. So I can bring this one down to say there, and I can bring this one down to there. So you don't have to sell where you initially want, where your initial stops and everything are. You can move everything around. Depends on what's going on. Like right now, our 2000 tick is showing that it's trying to turn down. Our MACD is trying to come up though. So if you get uncomfortable, you can just close out the whole thing. So this one here, I tell you what, the way it's moving, I might just go ahead and move that up to there. And it's trying to consolidate a little bit. I'll just close it out. So I took a little bit of profit there. So we're up to $1,460. That's because I got stopped out on that one. And seeing how it started pulling back, so it's playing across this pivot right here. So I think the best thing to do right now is just kind of hold off. It looks like the on balance is starting to come up. Our MACD is starting to come up. But this has got to come up. It's got to break through this up here before I would get in long on it. And we're still below our VWAP. Our VWAP's right here. So if you look over here, our VWAP is way up there. So it may be trying to come up and touch that VWAP and then come back down. It may be doing that. But usually when it's in through here, I won't trade it. I was just trying to show you how you could do it. And if you wanted, you could leave your stops the way they were and make it to where you're going to take profit every time. You're probably better off to do that as to try to beat the system. But if you can honestly tell that it's going to be reversing and coming down, I'll usually move mine, and that way I can take more profit. But this is all consolidation here. If we go back to a 300 to see what it's doing, and if we go to a 400 will give you a real good idea too. See, it's just showing consolidation here. So if you do a channel, you can do a channel from, say, here so there's your channel. So you need to break out of this channel and hold in order for you to go long. Now, according to the 400 tick, it's showing that you should have got in there. Let's look at the 200 tick. 200 tick would have got you in here 95.07. So that got you 10 points. So now we're starting to curl here. We're still going up over here, but we're hitting this pivot up here, which concerns me in that channel. So it's just not a place I would trade right now with real money. I mean, you can play, when you're doing the fake money and stuff, you can trade any way you want, but you're better off to trade it just like if you had real money on it. So right now we're at the top of that channel. We need to actually break. I would break 95.19 would be the best, but you could actually pick up some points right there. And we've missed out on a lot of points just sitting and waiting. Depends on how risky you are. Conservative risk. This is showing this trying to come back down. We're getting close to the top of our RSI. MACD is still going strong. MACD is showing you should have got in right here, right on this candle. So if you got in there 95.05 and went all the way to there, that'd give you 15 points. 15 points is good money. 2 contracts, you'd be looking, what was that, $1,200, 2 contracts from right here to there, where you would not have done that over here. So using the 200 tick is very good if you're doing these little short scalps. See, it's dropping down. Now it's going to pull back, and then when it pulls back up there, then you can get in a sell market there. I wouldn't have done that real money, but I'm just trying to show you. But we had a cross right there. We may end up keep on going back up. If I raise this up to there, oops, hit my stop. See there? But like I said, real money, I would not have done that. We're also on 3 times speed. Now that we broke that, we're going to pull back. We'll probably test the top of this channel. And then when we test that channel, that's when you want to get in. So if we buy a market there, now it may consolidate just a little bit, and then it will just take off. Well, this is your points, how many points were made. If you get I've got a 10 point and a 30 point, that's what mine are. But again, you can just hit the close button anytime you want and get out. Now that's a little pullback there, and it should run on up and take this stop out, or this profit out there, and then it'll raise my stop at that point. That's what it should do. Now looking at your 2000 over here, 2000 tick, it's showing that it's possibly going to continue to go right on up. So we hit the top of our channel. I like to wait, like when this is getting ready to potentially cross, I like to wait on that more so than trying to get in right where I did. I like to see more direction. But just trying to show you how it works on the play money. Play money's fun, but it's not rewarding other than education. It helps you make trades that you normally wouldn't do, you wouldn't think about, and then once you get into real life and trading, then sometimes you will. I paper trade a lot behind the scenes, and just to try different scenarios, try different ATM strategies and so forth, and it just seems to help me. When this gets up, I think I'll just close out up here. Wait till it get green again. It's not looking good, so I'm going to close that one out. See how it's going sideways right here? There's a good chance it's going to go up, but we've got a high here, a lower high. So we would have to break that candle right here for me to want to get back in. We're touching right here. This is a good sign that we could very easily pull right back down. So it's hard to say if we're going to continue to go up or not, but we took our profit and just come out of it. It's looking, see, we've got 4 right across the top there. It looks like we're probably going to sell off. Let's see, we got the one leg there, another leg there. Let's see, 1, and that's 2, and that's 3. And we're pulling back. It's probably just going to be a little bit of a pullback, and then it's probably going to take off again. Probably what it'll do. But anyway, I hope it helps you understand how I trade. That allows you to see the runners. The runner being, I wouldn't normally take that trade, but we've got our stop already in place. We've got one taking profit here, and then we got another one there. We could actually do 2. So now we've got 4 stops, we've got 3 buys, and then we've got 1 runner. And you can change this right here to where if you want 2 runners, you can change that, and it'll go from 2 up here to 2 there. So, and if you wanted 3 runners, you could do 3 up there, and then now it's changing that one to 1 and this one 3. So it'll take 1 profit there, which would be at 10 points, that'd be $200, and then your stop would automatically come down and take place of that. I think when you change it like that, I'm not sure if that stop will move with, let's see what it does here. I'm not sure if that'll bring all 3 of them or just 1, and then I think it only brings the 1 because that's what the strategy is. That brought all 3 down. So it brought all 3 down to here. It's actually break even -1 right now. So we could bring this down to +1. And what I mean is, we've got, let's see here. There's 12, so we do 1175. Right there would be +1 tick. So if it would go back and hit that, we won't lose money. We'll actually make just a few dollars. But anytime that you're in this trade and you don't feel comfortable with it, then you can just close it out. Okay, so when you close it out, it'd been nice to close it sooner. But the time we've been messing around, we're at $1,500. We lost a couple of trades there just messing around. But now you can understand how I trade, and you just have to make your own strategies the way you want. You can do these right here, you can do a custom, and then you can change ever how you want it in here. So when you do that, then that'll help you out. And these right here, this is where you can add a custom, and you put your trail stops in here or your auto break evens here. So that's how you do it, and you just save your different strategies. Like right now, I've got several in here. There's a bunch of them I don't need. I'm going to go through these and probably delete all of them and just go to where I have maybe 3 strategies that I use for ES and maybe 3 for NQ. And you can see that I've named NQ so I know to go to that one. And here's the one for gold. I probably won't trade gold. Gold, the margin's high, and you don't really get that much money on gold, but you do on NQ is probably my favorite one because it's smoother running. And like right now, we can do a sell market, and right now we're just doing 2. We didn't have a strategy with it. So if we we have no profit taking, we have no limit, so you'd have to close this out manually. And then if you come back in here, and then say you do the 2, so this one's going to give you a 2 buy stop and also a 2 profit. So this is going to be 5 points. I think, let's see, what is that, 91, 96? Yeah, it's 5 point stop, and then it's got a 10 point profit. I usually try to go 10 points on profit with NQ. You'll usually hit it pretty easy. And again, right now we're at 4, there's 6 points. You close it out anytime you want. It'll probably come down there. It touched it. Now we're up to 1950. It's just that quick, that easy. It's a matter of just following your strategy, looking at your indicators and making sure it's right. You can see this was a perfect setup right here. Perfect setup. And again, I've got this on 3 times speed, so it makes it a little bit quicker. But as long as as long as you understand how to use your indicators and stuff, and I will go over that in complete detail on the future contracts course. So if you look down in the description, there is a link for spymoneyllc.com. You can click on that and go to online courses on our website, and it will take you in, tell you all the pricing, what we have to offer, and just pick up the course that works best for you. And we have some pretty good ones. If you don't understand futures at all, if you've never messed with them, we have a future contracts course, and it really, what it does is it goes over all of futures and tells you what it does and how it operates and so forth. We don't go into, I show you some trading in it, how you can trade, but I don't go into the detail of a strategy. It's more of a basic learning of futures. And then if you don't have a strategy used to trade, then you would need to take the other course to learn how to trade. But the futures contract course actually teaches you, all about the futures, from the 1800s till today. It tells you what it is, why it became. There's a lot of information in there, and the course is fairly reasonable. So take that, and then again, if you don't have the strategy, then you can take the future contracts scalping course, and it will teach you how to do that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you like our course, we also have a Discord group. We do voice chat. So as I'm live trading, we have voice, and I'll tell you what's going on with the trade, what I'm doing, and it's up to you to decide if you want to get in or not. It's completely your trade, but I tell you what I'm doing, and I'm not 100% accurate. I lose on some trades too, but it's usually small losses. I see the trade and I just get out. Like you can see how we did here. When I started seeing something not feeling right, then I would just close it out and go. And that's usually what I do. Usually green every day. I do very well. And some days, I'll make, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8,000. I think the most I've ever made in a day is around 13,000 in a day. And, some days I, might lose 1,000 or so. So, but the end result is I'm a lot better percentage than, as far as making money, than I am losing money. And as long as you're always making money, then you can't go wrong. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. On our website, there is a contact form. You can send me any kind of question that you have or comment of anything. You can also put it in the bottom of this description. I personally answer all of those. There's not a robot or a secretary doing that. As me personally. And if anything I can do to help, let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.